The onus of self. If you're like me, you have spent a lot of time in an ambitious place, figuratively, in your life. You have spent a lot of time trying to level up. You have spent a lot of time reading, investing in yourself, trying to self-improve and become the best person that you can be. But, here go with those buts. Most of the time, yourself, you, will get in the way of your success. You will get in the way of your happiness, of your own self-improvement, of leveling up and becoming more, of achieving more. You will be your own greatest enemy. And why is this? Why do we self-sabotage sometimes? Why do we yearn for greater things, but in the inside, we do everything possible, or subconsciously we do things that go against ourselves? See, it's not a conscious thing. It's very, very covert. The things that we do to sabotage ourselves, the things that we do to get in the way of ourselves, the things that we do that are self-destructive. You, if you're like me, grew up with a lot of self-destructive tendencies. And there are a lot of hurdles you had to overcome to even accomplish a fraction of people in your peer group. And the main reason why is because you, like most people who came from challenging backgrounds, have a fear of success. A lot of people have a fear of success, and this fear is not openly present. This fear is nothing that you see overtly, and a lot of times it's not something that you're even conscious of. But you become conscious of it when you start to self-improve, when you start to really invest in yourself, when you really start to meditate and go inward to fix a lot of defects, to balance yourself out, to ground yourself. You start to notice little things that you will do or feelings that you will have that will get in the way of your own success. And it's a fear of success. Why? Why do you have this fear? Well, if you're like me and you came from humble beginnings, aka you were poor. When someone says humble beginnings, that's just another way of saying, look, I grew up poor. All right. You will definitely have a lot of problems. Because, like me, if you grew up in a poor environment, you grew up around a lot of broken people. A lot of people who didn't have the answers, a lot of people who had a lot of defects themselves and a lot of self-sabotaging, self-hate. And those self-destructive tendencies and that self-hate has been ingrained in you. And it has been ingrained in you from birth. And it has been ingrained in you so well that you don't even realize a lot of things that you do to get in your own way of success. You know, a lot of men, especially if you're a black man, You grew up in a very broken environment, a very, very broken environment. And for myself, I'm just using myself as an example. I grew up in an environment where it wasn't okay to be smart. I grew up in a place where it was very violent. There was a lot of poverty. I've never known anyone who made a lot of money. So for me to even fathom about making a lot of money, it was even hard for me to see myself in that position because I've never seen anyone even make $100,000 a year in my life. And it was a lot of self-work and a lot of self-improvement, a lot of counseling, a lot of meditation that I had to go through in order to get over these things. Because these are hurdles that will get into your way. You know, playing yourself down, acting dumber than you really are, playing your skills down, playing your talents down, having this fear. You know this is an opportunity and you have to take action, and even sometimes you might be given opportunities where you need to take action, but there's some type of fear you have inside. And the fear is not from you taking action. The fear mainly comes from you being afraid of success. Because, yeah, you can fail. And, you know, people do fail. It's a natural thing. It's something that is 100% natural and normal for you to fail because not everyone knows everything. And when you're doing something for the first time, you don't have all the answers and you don't have all the information. So you're going to try things out and you're going to do things you shouldn't. You're going to hesitate when you shouldn't. You're going to procrastinate when you shouldn't. You know, so you're going to fail. But the difference is the people who come from normal, healthy backgrounds, they can fail because they don't associate it with their self-worth. But when people come from really crazy backgrounds, dysfunctional backgrounds, you will associate your failure with your self-worth. So, also it comes into play when you want to try something new, want to do something, but you don't. You want to do business, but you don't do it, or you might procrastinate. You know you're supposed to do something, but you procrastinate, and you keep on figuring out, why am I procrastinating so much? Because, yeah, you might fail, but you might succeed. And what happens if you might succeed? What happens if you do succeed, rather? What happens? What would happen if you actually became successful? What would happen, like, for anyone who's listening, just picture what would happen if you actually had the life that you wanted to live? What would happen if you were actually successful? What would happen if you actually had the car you wanted, the house you wanted? What would happen if your business was doing the exact numbers that you wanted it to do? What would happen if you were able to travel as much as you want to? If you had the toys, you know, the boats, the bikes, anything you wanted? What would happen? See, that's a lot of power. And it's not that you would not know what to do with that power. It's that you don't think you deserve that power. Because you've never seen anyone around you with that type of power. And also because the people around you shun that type of power. And they might even shun you. You might grew up in a situation where you weren't loved, where your mother really didn't love you, or you feel as though she didn't love you as she should have, or she might have played favoritism and, you know, it was apparent that she loved your younger brother, your younger sister, or your older brother, or your older sister more than she loved you. Or your father didn't love you. Your father said he will come see you. Had you waiting for hours and he never came? Or maybe you didn't know your father. Or maybe you constantly tried to connect with your father, but he never wanted to establish a relationship with you. Listen, what I'm ultimately trying to tell you is that it's not your fault. It's not your fault. And you can't be walking around with this fear when you're trying to level up and do something great. Because don't allow these broken people, because that's what they are. You were raised in a broken environment. It's not normal. It's not normal to be raised in poverty. It's not normal to be raised in a broken environment. It's not normal for a child not to be loved. It's not normal for a child not to have the attention that they want. It's not normal for a child not to be raised by two parents. Things like this is not normal. And you were raised in a broken environment. You were raised in abnormalities. And the fact that you're even thinking about accomplishing something is great, because most people don't even make it that far. Most people stay defeated, but you managed to make it this far. And let me tell you, your success is not dependent on that. You deserve to be successful. You deserve to be successful. Especially if you're a person like me, who went through the pain, who went through the sacrifices, who spent years not making income, focusing on your business and putting everything you had into it, taking losses, being in uncomfortable situations, having to work for 16-hour days for 2 years, 3 years straight, not complaining, being broke, having to bounce back from failure, having to sell everything you have just so you can put it back into your business. What I'm saying is, don't let these broken people in this broken environment control you and write your destiny. Because if your mother did not love you, if your father did not love you, if you've been in a broken environment and you were mistreated and you weren't raised the way you were supposed to, those are their problems. That's your father's problem. But don't make your father's problem your problem. Don't carry on this generational curse, because that's what it is. It's a generational curse. Something that you have to get rid of. Something that you need to rise above. Because if you're listening to this, you're most likely are working hard, you're most likely are self-improving, you're most likely are trying to do better, and you deserve to be successful. You deserve to be successful, no matter what anybody tell you. If you put in the hard work and you put in the effort and the time and the sacrifice, you deserve to be successful. So don't let anyone write your destiny. And understand that you have a fear of success. And work those fears out. Meditate. Talk to someone. Write your problems down. Go through ways of fixing it. And understand when you're going through little bouts of your fear, because sometimes the fear pop up out of nowhere. And you have to understand, hey, this is my fear of success that's trying to tell me not to do this. This is my fear of success, and that's why I'm procrastinating. This is my fear of success, and that's why I'm scared of making this deal. This is my fear of success, and that's why I'm scared of starting this business. This is my fear of success, and that's why I feel like I don't deserve to be happy. I don't deserve to be making $100,000 a year, or $2,000 a year, or $1 million a year. I don't deserve that. But you do. Listen, man. Let go of your fears. It's the Gutsy Entrepreneur. If you find this message valuable, please like, share, and subscribe. but more importantly, stay vigilant.